Welcome back if you've been here before. Welcome if you're new. My name is Dion. I call this the Crazy Troll Nation. The Crazy Troll Nation. The crazy, not caring too much. I'm backwards. The crazy is because I'm exhausted. I'm doing this video and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm saying. And hiccuping, excuse me. The crazy is it's okay to be authentic. So even if you're disgusting at times, like that was just so rude. But just accepting yourself for who you are. The troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. Try not to feel like you need to use a certain tool, a certain technique, or a certain tool, technique, or product. Use whatever you want to get your makeup on in a way that you're satisfied with it. Here at the Crazy Troll Nation, we believe in self-acceptance and self-love, embracing your natural features, enhancing them if you want to, when you want to, but never feel like you have to. That's the concept. I hope it resonates with you. Two things I need to let you know. One, you already heard. There's an organism that lives in my throat, an unwanted troll that randomly hiccups, gurgles, and belches. I do always say excuse me whether I think you heard it or not. The second thing is I do curse sometimes in my videos. So this video we're going to talk about, I've been thinking about what I want my makeup kit to look like, my professional makeup kit to look like. And so as I'm talking, I'm going to pop up pictures over here. I wrote them down in the order that they're in my phone, so hopefully everything will line up excuse me, with what I'm telling you. You have seen what's in the kit. You've seen what's in the kit. And it's not suitable for our skin tones. And so I'm like, okay, what am I going to do if I have anyone my complexion or deeper? And also, and that's basically it. The one eyeshadow palette in there, it irritated my lids, and I'm like, I'm not going to use that anymore. And I because that one formula also was very difficult to work with. I don't know if I'm going to want to use that on someone else, because I'm not going to want to spend like 5 minutes. That's an exaggeration. 3 minutes just on one eyeshadow to get on somebody's eye. The other palette is okay. The shades do show up. I haven't tried them wet like they showed in one of the demos. I opted for Circle Loco from Natasha Denona because I know they're going to show up. So I was thinking of what would round out my kit. And so I'm going to pop up some pictures and we're going to talk about it. So also, well, one of the perks that you heard about, one of the talking points in the required video, the first video that I did was, where was I going with that? What was I saying? So in that video and unboxing it, you saw the kit. Where was I going with that statement? Y'all, I'm sleepy and I'm wired on Mountain Dew. I was so sleepy coming home and it's an hour drive. Saw another bad accident. I saw 3 accidents going down and one coming back on this side of 95 North. So like, what could round out my kit? And so we're just going to go through it because I don't know. Oh, one of the perks is you can get, as a student, you can get student discounts on some cosmetic websites. And once you finish the class, and or you get a license, where you would have to finish a course to get a license, sometimes the percentage goes up. But right now, my percentage, what 2 do I have right now? NYX does 30%, and Makeup Forever does 30%, I believe. And once you graduate, I think it's 40%. Don't quote me on that, y'all. Don't quote me on that. But I do believe Makeup Forever is 30%. And it's good for a year as a student. And as a professional, I think every so often, don't quote me on this either, you just have to renew, your license, whatever the requirements are. But so I've been taking it into mind too. And I am looking into other websites because NYX, I just look just to look. And I'm like, they do have a program. So I'm like, oh. So I definitely have NYX and I definitely have Makeup Forever. I'm looking at eSims. I'm looking at Natasha Denona. But because they have sales so often on a Natasha site, I could get 20 or 30% off, even if I wait for a coupon code at Ulta that includes Prestige, or wait for the Rouge sale at Sephora. So I can easily get 20% if I just wanted Natasha stuff. And what website was I looking at? Because there was a site I was looking at. Maybe it was Sephora. I don't know. But let's just go through the list. And so when I'm looking at the Makeup Forever prices, I'm minusing 30% because I'm like, this stuff is high. And it is professional makeup. And it's HD. It's designed to be HD, high definition, you know, flash photography on TV, on film, you know, all of that. So looking at that. So the first thing I have on here, we got MAC products. MAC has do they have a program? I don't know. But they have a lip palette. So I'm popping up stuff as I'm talking about it. And right now I don't remember what it looks like. There was, yes I do, one was orange, and it said like editorial orange or whatever. It says on the screen. Forgive me, y'all. I'm just kind of like, like, why am I even here? I'm exhausted and I'm wired. And then they had one for pinks. And so I looked at that, and I'm looking at the one that came in the kit. This is the lip palette that came in the kit. And even though the MAC ones, it does give more variety. This is 2, 4, 6, 8 shades, but it is a nice variety of shades. You have 2 really deep tones. Which one did I use? This one, y'all. It was either it was patchy or it was me, because I'm not used to using lip brushes, and I used 2 of the lip brushes, and then I ended up also using like at least 2 lipstick applicators to get it on, and it was patchy. And I know it wasn't because my lips are dry, because I'm a chapstick hoe. I know my lips was not dry, and y'all see me in videos when I start, I put on the chapstick and then I use a lipstick applicator, take some of it off, and then I put on my lip product. This went on, it was just really patchy, and I don't know if it was just me trying for the second time in my life since I've been wearing makeup, maybe using a brush or not, or if it's the formula, like I don't know. And you know, I scooped some out with a spatula onto my palette, and I dipped into that to put it on, so I did not double dip. But what I'm saying is I'm questioning the formula, but that's the only one I used. And you can use this for your cheeks as well. And then some of the demos, she did use this on the model's lips and on the model's cheeks. And so I'm questioning for now just to stick with this one, or to get the orange and the pink lipstick palettes from MAC. They're $27 a piece, and so that would be $54 minus whatever discount they have. And I'm going to say this now because this is going to factor into all of the rest of this stuff. I'm showing you most of it. Most of these are cream products. We know creams turn way quicker than powders, and the POA on this one is 12 months, and most stuff is 12 months. MAC has a tendency, their stuff lasts a long time. Even their paint pots might last like 5 years and not even be dried out, like seriously. And so that's why I'm looking at MAC too, like I know it's going to last long. But for something like this, and what I should do is go into the MAC store and see what the PAO says, because if the PAO says 12 months, then it should be going in 12 months, because even if you don't see bacteria, that doesn't mean it's not breeding in here. By the time you see mold, by the time you see bacteria, it is already throughout the product. Like it does not happen overnight. And so I wouldn't want to keep something and then one day it's like, you know, pull it out to use it and be like, oh, what's them little white marks? By then, how many times have I used it before I saw it, because it was already in there? You see what I'm saying? And so for your personal use, if you want to keep cream products longer, I go for it. If your skin is happy, go for it. But me thinking of doing other people's faces, and is their skin sensitive like mine? I would not trust it. I wouldn't. And so I'm keeping in mind with a lot of these products, a lot of them are creams, and which means if I don't have a high clientele, if I don't have a large clientele base, a lot of this stuff is going to be wasted. By time the year's over, I will have probably so much product left that it's going to be trashed, and then repurchasing probably whatever I use most. You know what I mean? I wouldn't repurchase everything, whatever I use most. And then if I get a client and I'm like, oh, damn, I don't have such and such, then just go get that one thing. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm thinking about what's realistic that I'm going to use up. And right now, there's only like 2 people that asked me to do their makeup so far, like off, not even as a business, but just, oh, can you do my makeup for this conference coming up or whatever? And they're brown skin, so I'm like, none of this stuff in this kit is going to work for them. But I told them bring their own complexion stuff. But these 2 would work for their lip stuff. And if they wanted a bright blush, I could use one of those for blush. And so I'm thinking of what's realistic for me to have, and not just get everything that looks good to round out the kit. excuse me, without knowing who my population is going to be or how many clients I'm going to have. If I was doing bridal makeup and I know I'm going to be busy, it's going to get used. But I don't want to do bridal makeup because it doesn't excite me and I think it would just make me bored. But do you, boo-boo? I heard there's good money in it. But for me, I want to enjoy what I do. And I do enjoy playing in makeup, but I want to do stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? So throughout, as I'm showing you the cream products, part of me is like, don't do it, because at the end of the year, everything's going to go in the trash. Even just using this one shade, if I don't use anything else in here in a year, this is going in the trash. I don't know how much it costs because it's not on the website. It's not on the company's website, so I don't know. But so I'm thinking, I want to be realistic with what I buy. Is it going to get used? And for that, I need to figure out who my clientele base is going to be. What demographic am I going to be working with? Which will tell me more or less like, okay, what stuff may I possibly need? So you saw the 2 lip things from MAC. MAC also has a Pro Face palette. It says contour and cream color shadow. And I didn't write down how many pans. They had something that was a 4-pan. And I was like, that looks really nice because it's darker tones. So let me show you here. Where was their... This is their contour blush highlight palette. So if I did get the one from MAC, this is powder though. If I did get the one from MAC that's cream, at least I have something for deeper complexions. This made me look dusty. So if you're my complexion or deeper, you might can use, and I used one of the blushes and it was dusty. So I do want something for deeper skin tones. And so, but that one did appeal to me, and that was $40. I need to see what program they have or catch something on sale, but sometimes MAC does have 25% off site-wide sales, stuff like that. And they have a conceal and correct palette, which is $42. Maybe that's the one I'm thinking about with that one. I don't remember right now. I apologize. And so either that one or the 4-pan with the darker shades is the one that I'm like, that might really work. And both of those are cream products. They do have, not that I'm interested in it. If I didn't have this one, maybe, but then maybe not. This is a foundation palette, they told me, and I thought it was a concealer palette. And I'm looking in here like, there's nothing in here for me. Because this is too rosy for me. This is too light. So I'm like who? And so anyway, MAC has a foundation palette. It says full coverage foundation. I'm like, okay, well, this really is a foundation palette too. And you see the darkest shades in there. That's not going to work for anybody deeper than me. And so, you know, tonight at the Playhouse, a few people like, I like your makeup. They were deeper than me. So even that palette from MAC, that wouldn't be a foundation for them. So I'm still like, which is why the 4-pan one, I'm like, that would work for somebody deeper. And if it was too dark, I can lighten it up with this. But then honestly, I'm questioning the quality of this. Like, I would rather just go with MAC. And I haven't used anything in here yet, but the time is already ticking because I've been opening it. So yeah. So also with MAC, I like that the tops are clear. They're clear like the Pro pans. I mean the empty palettes, the Pro palettes. And so I like that I could just lay them out and I can see them versus this, I need to open it up. And that's why I got, you know, these unsightly labels on the front to see what it is. So that is that. And also with the color corrector thing from MAC, this is the one that came in the kit. And it looks like it has all the colors I would need. And so do I need like the regular color corrector one from MAC? Yes, definitely the one that had the 4 deep shades. But just overall, I think this will suffice. I did work with this shade and these two. This one made me look hella muddy. I'm not going to say it was challenging to work with, and they did blend out well. And again, y'all know I don't really use cream products, and so it might have just been a me thing. Putting it on a palette, so you have like a little, you know, what you scrape, and then you're putting a brush in it, and it didn't want to blend on the palette. It was just moving the lump around, and so that was something. And so then I would dot it on my face, and then there were like, you can see the dots of it, and then, you know, blending it, and it did blend out. But so this will just take me practice getting used to this. But you know what, I started backwards, because what I'm looking at now is my second paper. This is the first paper. Damn it. But I do think this will be enough as far as color correcting and concealing. And I do want to, even though she says my base, my foundation, my color correcting, whatever I'm using, she says it's spot on. And so I'm like, do I really even still want to try like color correcting under my eyes and around my nose? And I do, because I know I'm going to do it for other people, because everybody's not going to have a perfect shade foundation and a perfect shade concealer. You know what I mean? And so I do want to learn how to do that. I do want to practice doing that. So also from MAC, both of these are $42. These are powder products, and so I'm excited because I can keep them longer than a year. They are both Sculpt and Shape contour palettes, and they're powder products. And so I do really believe they would come in handy. And one is light medium, and one is medium dark. And, well, medium dark / dark. And so I'm looking at those like, I think between those two, I would have something for everyone, even if I needed to mix. And that would be $84 if I got both of those. But I am intrigued by those, because unlike the ones that came in the kit, I'm like, who is that for? Except someone fair, and maybe fair to medium. It ain't coming over to tan. And so, but I am intrigued by those. And maybe what I'll do is go in and talk to the manager and be like, hey, do y'all have a program? And take my paper with me, because they send you email in for your student verification thing, and that's what you send in to wherever, and your ID, a picture of your ID. So maybe I'll just go into the Mac store with it and ask to speak to the manager and see if she has a program. But then I might have to sign up online anyway. I'll just check online again. I need to write down who I contacted and who I didn't. Ironically, I received an email from Natasha Denona website saying something about pro artistry, and I'm like, I didn't contact them for that, I don't think. I am in their affiliate program, but I was just kind of like, that's ironic. But anyway, also there's a cosmetic sanitizer mist, and it's $20, and I think that was on the Esom website, but I'm not sure. And they're sold out. I definitely want to get that, because that's what you spray to sanitize your cosmetics, both creams and powders. So I do want to get that. And when it is in stock, you know what? I was going to say I would buy more than one, but I think I'll just get one and see if it does have a PAO on it. And if it's like 2 years from now, then I'll get another one. And it's only 4 ounces, I think, and I don't want to run out, because I know I will use it. The Esom website, y'all know Esom is expensive, but y'all also know it is a professional makeup brand. And so I'm looking at Esom again like, Esom expensive. And I think their program is for if you're already licensed, because they ask for your company website, your license number, and I'm like, I ain't got none of that, and I ain't going to have none of that. Well, the license I won't, but I will have a website, because we need to do one for the class for homework. But they're expensive. And I don't know, sometimes they have sales, but they're not frequent. I would just have to try to catch one. So I was looking at, this is $80, the eyeshadow palette. It's the #1 palette, and it's balanced, and it's all matte. That's something for everybody in that palette. That is something for everybody. And their #2 intensity palette, that's all shimmers, metallic, satins. That's $120, but it's something in there for everybody. Unless you want bold and bright. If you just want like that little soft shimmer, soft glam, bridal makeup type stuff, no makeup looks. Those two, between them two palettes, that's it. And I don't know why I'm sitting like, because I'm tired. That's why I'm sitting like that. And their $80 blush palette, which is a #9 palette. That's all of these are powders. Well, the eyeshadow one is powder. The Intensity Shimmer eyeshadow palette is powder. They have a pressed pigment palette. I didn't even put that down. I'm not even going there with pressed pigments. The #9 is a blush palette, and it has 5. And I looked again at the Sculpt bronzer palette that I had for me that I ended up selling on Macari because I was making myself use it. But I'm looking at it again because that would pair well, because there's something in there for every, I'll say almost every complexion, because it depends on undertone too. And the same with the blushes. You have like one of each tone, and I do think that would satisfy most of your clientele. The same with the Sculpt one that I had before. They're $80 a piece. But it's like, I don't know, because the other blush palettes, they have more colors, they have more choices. You know what I'm saying? That's not, these are only 5. And for the other blush palettes that I showed you earlier, even though they were cream, you might have like 12 choices. Oh, on the other paper, Makeup Forever, y'all, they're getting me. I'm looking at this stuff like, oh my God. And even though it's all creams, with the discount, 88, we'll get to that. Okay, so also, Isom has a lip and cheek palette for $80, which is also cream. But then I'm looking at this one again here, even though I'm questioning the quality, and I do think it might just be a me thing. I don't know. I think I may have enough, like for now, of lip colors. So the one from Isom, I'm like, you know, do I or do I not? And also you can use these on your cheeks too. And so I need to play with that, and that's what I didn't want to do for the mature makeup look, because it's supposed to be like all creams, but I wasn't ready yet. Cause I'm like, if this messes up my look, I'm gonna be pissed. But I am going to practice using this for lips. And I know people put, you know, lipstick on their face anyway. So that's that paper, which is the second one. So now we're going to go to the first one. So I'm going back to the beginning. NYX. I believe, what did I say? It was 30% off. And NYX is not expensive anyway. So I'm just like, yeah. Oh, you know what? Let me back up for a minute. I apologize. The blush palette from Isom. This is the one that came in the kit. And I do think it might be something in there for everybody. I do think. I'm going to leave that there, because as far as quality, excuse me for smacking, that's just what I'm used to as far as the consistency or the texture, that type of thing. But I do think this is maybe something for everybody in here. And so I'm looking at what's in the kit, looking at what I think will suit across the board, universal, something that's universal, against buying something else. You know what I'm saying? So NYX has a color correcting palette. It's only $12, y'all. But then I'm looking at this concealer color corrector palette, and I'm like, it's the same shades. Well, some of these shades are the same. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, even though that's $12, like, do I want to get that now? And part of me is saying, stuff that is inexpensive, and because the NYX one, it is a clear top, I can just look at it, it's intact, and put it away and not open it. So the PAO would not start. But other stuff, if I open it to check it, unless I just do one of these, I think that would start the time. Because once air gets in, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, so I don't know about the NYX one, even though it is only $12, because I have this one, which has all the shades, it has concealers, and it has color correctors. And so, yeah, so that's that. NYX also has a highlight contour pro palette for $25. And I showed you what came in the kit already as far as blush, contour, and highlighter. And so I'm looking at that like, excuse me, would that be something? You know, for my kit. It's only $25, and then with the discount, you know what I'm saying? So that would be really inexpensive. Makeup Forever. This is the expensive stuff. But it looks so nice. Makeup Forever, they have full face and a case. $88, which I think 30% off would be like 60 something, which is not bad, because you get 12 blush type highlight shade, blush / highlight shades, and you get 6 of the bronzer. I wrote it down. You get 6 on the blush and highlighter side. The other side is complexion, foundation, concealer, bronzer, or contour. So you get 6 on one side, 6 on the other side, and they have one for light / medium and one for medium deep. And I'm looking at that like, that could be almost for everybody. And so with the discount, it would be maybe like $130. But then it being a cream, if it says PAO is 12 months, it's done. And so part of me is like, just wait and see what pops off who my clientele base is going to be. You know what I'm saying? And then figure out what I'm going to buy. But these are things I'm thinking about now because one, that's the homework assignment coming up is do your website, do your business cards. And so I'm going to have to put something on there, like what my niche is going to be, what services I'm offering, that type of thing. And so even though I'm only on module 8 right now, this is module 8. So the next one is module 9, and I think it goes up to 16. So I'm like really moving along here. And I do have some bonus lessons and bonus demonstrations too to watch, which is really great. So so part of me is like, just wait and see, because say, you know, someone says, hey, you know, I want to, you know, book you to do such and such. It's not like it's going to be tomorrow. It might be like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and that'll give me time to order something and then just hope I'll have use for it for somebody else down the road. Yeah. And so now Smashbox. I forget what website this was on. I don't know if this was on Sephora. Excuse me if you heard that. Smashbox, $46. They have Cali Contour Face Palette, $46. They have one for medium dark and the other one is light to medium. Those look really nice, except it only seems to be like, you know, one highlight color, maybe 2 blushes. So it's not as much of a variety as the Makeup Forever. However, the Smashbox ones are powders, and so I could keep them longer. You see what I'm saying? So do I get the more colors and the more options and potentially waste them if I don't use them much in a year, or get the powder ones and just hope they suffice? And you can mix the powders and stuff, excuse me for smacking, as y'all know. So I'm looking at those and I'm like, because I really want powder products. But then if I do have older, well, I don't even want to say older clients, but someone with the look of mature skin, it is recommended to use cream stuff. And so these are just thoughts. But I do like the idea of powders. And to get stuff to get a dewy look, I can always put Hourglass Radiant Light, and Hourglass has other powders. Ethereal Light, which I don't have. They have different finishing powders. And some of them do give a glow. And so if even if not using cream products, you can still get a glow. And also some finishing sprays. The Scandinavia, this gives me like a slight luminosity. You know what I'm saying? And that powder that Grace sent me, Laura Mercier Transparent Illuminating Pressed Powder, that's a borderline disco ball. So I'm saying that to say I can get luminosity not using cream products. And so I am really intrigued by the Smashbox Contour Face Palettes. It's not a lot of variety. Like, it's not a whole bunch of colors. But it would be something for, you know, light to medium. And then the other one for medium to dark, which is pretty cool. And they have a 3-piece set. I didn't put the price for that for some reason. You know why? Because I'm looking at it like, that one, though, would balance out, now that I'm thinking about it, and maybe that's why I kept it, because I started to delete it, and that's why I didn't even screenshot it to save the price. Maybe that one would balance out this one, because the 3 shades in there, they were for my complexion or deeper, whereas this is just strictly lighter people than me. And so that might be something that would balance this out. I don't remember what Smashbox quality is like. If you use Smashbox powder products, their face palettes, let me know your thoughts on them, just so I'll know. And I could go into the store and swatch it, but because it's a tester and people had their grubby, sweaty, oily fingers in it, that's not still going to tell me what the texture is really like. You know what I mean? So if you have used these, or showed up a few minutes ago, the Smashbox Cali Contour Face Palettes, let me know what you think of those. And I do know Smashbox is a nice brand, but my personal experience with them, even with their eyeshadows, like, it just didn't do it for me. And I think it's a preference thing. I know it's a preference thing, because I like, you know, Natasha Denona, the Creamy Master Cream and Powder. I like Pat's formula for the most part. Mac's formula I like. And so Smashbox never really did it for me. I liked it in the beginning of my makeup journey, but once I started trying other brands, Smashbox was gone. I'm just like, but I know also, like, when you're working on people, if they don't wear makeup that often, they don't know the difference. So it's like, as long as the colors show up and the look is pretty, they're fine. If I have to do extra blending, if I have to pack it on, so what? You see what I'm saying? But, you know, I want it to be easy and quick because I don't want to take 2 hours to do something like this. You know what I mean? Because time is money if I'm going to do this as a hustle. And so, Danessa Myricks, y'all. She has a 4-color lip and cheek palette. And y'all know I don't use Danessa. My skin does not like Danessa. My heart, my soul, and my spirit, and my intellect loves her to pieces. But my skin is like, nah. And so that's why I don't have anything Danessa. But I'm looking at it like, you know, from what I'm hearing is that, you know, it's really good quality. But then I'm looking at those colors like, okay, some of those colors, at least the 2 dark ones, I think are in here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at that like, and that cost $32. And so I'm like, so it comes down to, do I think I'm going to use it? Which means waiting to see what my clientele base is going to be like, or at least what population I'm going to be like. Because when I had cross-dressing clients before, they were all Caucasian. And some were almost my complexion. I had none that were deeper than me. So if that's going to be what it's going to be for the most part, then I won't need to buy like deeper things. But that is beautiful though. The Danessa stuff is beautiful. But I'm trying to be realistic, like who am I going to be working on? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to just buy stuff and then it just sits and sits and sits and sits. The other 2 things that I was looking at were her groundwork palettes. They are $65 a piece, and I still have that $100 gift card from when I redeemed my $2,500 points. And so I'm like, even if I get both of those, that would be $130. The gift card is $100. I would pay $30 for both of those. So I'm going to text someone I know that has those and ask them what the PAO is, because a lot of it is cream. And most of the pens, as you know, are cream. If the PAO is 12 months, a year, both of those groundwork palettes should be going in the trash, especially if I'm going to be using them on other people. But I'd only be spending $30 out of my pocket. You know what I'm saying? And y'all know, and it is geared towards makeup artists. And so depending on my clientele, I think like both of those would go a long way and maybe possibly condense, you know, my my makeup kit, except for because the powder strips are so thin. And for me, I usually top a cream with a powder, which is where the other blush, not the one in the kit, or maybe or maybe it would complement this one because this does have more colors in it. But if I'm using one of the darker shades, excuse me, it's not really much darker shade in here. And so I'm thinking of, excuse me, what can complement what that I already have. But I do love the idea of groundwork, the neutral, because I can do brows. Well, as you know, it's a whole face thing. Your eyes, your lips, and your face, unless you have sensitivities like I do. And all sensitivities are not the same. But looking at those 2, the neutrals and the blooming romance, that could be it. And that could just complement some of the other miscellaneous stuff that's in my kit. You know what I mean? And even as far as the lipstick, I can use those for lipsticks too. And even for, color correcting and contour. Excuse me if you heard that in my throat, except maybe these over here. Well, you know what? No. The only ones maybe not would be like these 3 for color correct. But there's definitely shades like this in there. And these, I don't know if there's a white. This is like this is like white. And so I am looking at those. So I'm going to text someone I think that has them and ask what the PAO is and hope that it is like 24 months because I am intrigued by those. But as I said, I'm just questioning, the cream stuff over powder, because powder you can keep 3-4 years. Also, what I was thinking about too is stuff that I have that I know works for me, and I wouldn't want to put my stuff in the kit. But I was thinking about like matte shadows last years. The PAO is over 30, I think it's either 30 months or 36 months. Because when I looked up the regulations, If your product, I don't want to say expires, if your product is not supposed to be used past 24 months, that's when they should put a PAO on there. No, it might have been 30 months. I think it was either 30 or 36 months. I'm thinking 30 for some reason, because I remember thinking, why not 36? Why is it 30? So if the product is not supposed to be good to use after 30 months, you don't have to put a PAO on there. And so that's why sometimes you'll see 12 months. Some stuff I see 24 months. MAC stuff doesn't have a, I just noticed they have the lipstick shade names on here. And then for this one, excuse me for the glare, they have the shade names on the back. I just now noticed that. So MAC, a lot of their stuff doesn't have PAO, which means it should be good for like almost 3 years or not more. And I like that idea. But those are the powder products. Natasha Denona, her eyeshadow palettes, the PAO is 24 months. And they do start to, the texture starts to change for me at about just shy of 2 years. Just shy of, the 24 months. And so even if I were to get Natasha's stuff when she has one of the sales that's almost a buy one, get one free, I could get Biba, I could get Glam, I can get I Need a Nude, I can get Circle Loco, and I know I can have those up to 2 years versus, just the eyeshadow palettes that came in the kit, those are 12 months. And so I opened them a year from like August next year, they should be in the trash. And so I'm thinking, do I want to just double up on Natasha when there's like a buy one, get one free type sale, or if I see one in Ipsy or something like that, or, because those are the basic colors. Biba, I Need a Nude, Circle Loco to bump it up. What was the other one? Glam, Retro Glam. You know what I'm saying? And so I would have like all the colors. And because of how she does her packaging, I would know what all the colors are. And I know the formula really well. And I can keep it up to 2 years, even using it for clients. And so that's something I'm thinking about too. Like, do I just kind of stick with what I know as far as eyeshadow? I don't know. Because I'm only going to be using one palette from in the kit, which is a nice palette. The formula is just questionable for me just because of my preference. But so these are thoughts I've been thinking. Let me know what you're thinking. If you Smashbox, if you have used their face kits or their face palettes, do let me know the quality, and I will look at the reviews on that. The Danessa stuff, it is geared towards professional makeup artists, and the critique has been, or the complaint has been, most people are like, I've used up 2 shades, I wish they sold them as singles. And I'm like, well, looking at it, I know I wouldn't use everything in that palette in either one of those. And so, and I know it's the hype, and Danessa's Danessa, we love her to pieces, but realistically, do I need the whole neutrals for me? And even if I could wear it, I probably would have bought it still. Because I just probably would have, and then been like, okay, I'm only using like 4 shades, so like that's a waste in my opinion, especially because they're expensive, which really not. They're $65, and also I don't use a lot of cream products either, so that's the other thing. So that's kind of where I'm at. But definitely, if my clientele called for it, and I'm like, this is the neutrals, that's the whole range. The blooming ones, that's cheek, that's lip, that's the whole range. You know what I'm saying? And so I do think it would be worth it, especially if I do get them using the gift card and only come out of pocket $30. But I need to just really figure out what my clientele is going to be, and then looking at who or what ethnic group is the majority in that population. And my gift card, it expires in October. Today is August 18th, and so I have 6 weeks to figure out what I'm gonna buy. And I do want to get the most for my money as well. Makeup Forever, on sale, they $88, that's 60 something. So that would be like $130 for those if I got those. But then I would have to toss it in a year. I'm babbling, I'm repeating myself, so I'm gonna go. Let me know your thoughts though. And I know I don't want to say I feel scattered because I don't. I'm just trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would round out my kit, but I need to get a grip on what I'm going to do, which will dictate what my population is going to be. And that will dictate what goes in the kit. And so I do have time. Again, today is August 18th. I do have time to figure that out. That lesson, that homework doesn't come. But at the rate I'm going, it might be 2 weeks from now when I have to do that, do the website, the cards. And so I'm going to have to figure it out. But I've been thinking about it now for a good week. Like, who am I going to work with? What am I going to do? What are my services going to be? Who am I going to focus on? What type of makeup aesthetic am I going to gear myself to? Advertising, you know, stuff like that. And I do really want to work within the alternative community, though, because it is just so much fun. And I meet so many wonderful people that it's just really just amazing and it's awesome. So that is it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on any of the products that you saw that popped up. If you have used any of them, what your experience was. Do you think it's a good idea? Are you like, it doesn't matter, go ahead and get the cream and toss it in a year if the PAO is a year? But if the price is good, though, you know what I'm saying? Like the NYX stuff, like those are real cheap. And then with the discount, like stuff. So there's a lot of this or this or this and that, and then you combine it with this and then that. So there's like a lot of moving parts to putting my kit together. And even with eyeshadow palettes, I don't want to just get every palette that looks pretty. You know what I mean? Because the palette that they have, the Pro Marbled one, that's how many colors is that? I think that's like 40 colors in there. So it's like, what else could you need unless you want to bump it up? And then that's where like Circle Loco or something would come in, or, which I'm not going to use for clients, this MAC palette. Yeah, because this, y'all, this is everything. This is everything. And so I'm going to go, but I am excited to figure this out. I am excited to see where this is going to take me. And it's still just funny to me because I had no intention on being in this program. And now I'm like trying to figure out the hustle. You know what I'm saying? So it's, like I did a complete, you know, 160 on this. Like, I don't want to do this program. And now I'm like, oh, what do I need to complete my kit and who am I going to work with? So I'm just kind of like, what's happening? Like, what is the universe putting together for me? You know what I'm saying? And I am excited to see what happens and what comes of it. And you can see from the videos I've been doing, my reactions to the feedback, what I'm learning, and all of that. Y'all see, like, I am all the way the fuck in. Like, I'm really doing this thing, and it's exciting. And so yeah, this is something. This is this is really something. And so, but thank you for being here. Do let me know your thoughts on any of the stuff that popped up, any of the products that I talked about, because just because something is not my preference doesn't mean that it's not still good. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't want to bypass something just because I prefer different. And as I said, when you're working on a client, can they tell the difference between how Natasha feels and how something Smashbox might feel, or whatever? You know what I'm saying? So I do just want to maximize my money. I want to get just a rounded out kit, just a well-rounded kit. And I don't feel like I need like 50 palettes. And I did take a few out of my Macari store that were just kind of basic nudes. And it did add to what was in the Pro Marbled kit the Pro Marbled palette that they had in the kit. And so even with that and a couple blushes I took out of my Macari store and put in there, that balances out this blush kit, because yeah. So we're going to go, but let me know. Thank you for being here for this. I don't know when I'm going to post this. I don't. It ain't going to be no time soon. Probably in October, to be honest with you. And again, today is August 15th. So thank you for being here. Let me know your thoughts below. Please let me know your thoughts below. Like, help me get in a position to help other people with their faces. And, you know, thank you for being here. As always, self-acceptance, self-love, that is the Crazy Troll Nation way. And there's stuff that's popping up over here for you to see if you have time, hang out. If not, just come back later, because I am always here, y'all. I am always here. Thank you, and you will see me soon.